Now we enter the final stretch of the project, and to finish our animation, we are going to put a few sound effects and a little background music. First, I'm going to create a folder that's going to be called sound effects. Now we come to file import, and we are going to extract all these that I am also going to leave you so that you can use them. Well, and before placing the sounds, I'm going to come to this scene in which Jeff appears with these two characters because I have realized that I need to put a file. So we enter the composition here, and in the assets folder, we have a video called Money, which is of some bills as well as flying. Okay, well, we are going to put this layer behind the characters here above the background layer, and we also convert it to 3D with the S key. We expand the scale, and we are going to put it at 60%, and now the position, and here on the Z-axis, look. These two layers here are the characters that are 500 pixels deep. Well, we are going to put this money at 550 so that it stays right behind. What happens? I don't want it to start here, right at the beginning of the timeline. So I'm going to advance to the second one there and an is. That's where this layer is going to start. In addition, I am also going to put an effect called tone and saturation on these bills. Here we are going to activate the coloring box and the saturation because we are going to set it to 5, then the colorette plate because here you can change the tone. I'm going to put a value of 100. And here I'm going to lower the lines a little bit to -10 to lower the brightness a little bit. Okay, let's preview this. Let's see what it looks like.
With an initial investment of $10,000 from his own pocket and the financial support of his parents, Bezos began developing the platform.
Come on, it looks great there. Let's continue. We come back to composition, editing, effects. And we can now put the first sound effects. The first one, this one called Bosch, I'm going to put it down here. Well, but first I'm going to put on the background music, and I'm going to play to listen to the music with the animation.
En 1994, Jeff Bezos funda la empresa Amazon, la cual tenía su espacio físico en el garaje de su casa en Seattle. Este impulso de Jeff fue generado por la idea de crear una librería online aprovechando el creciente potencial de Internet. Inicialmente, Bezos consideró llamar a la empresa Cadabra, pero su abogado le aconsejó descartar ese nombre porque sonaba demasiado parecido a la palabra cadáver. Con una inversión inicial de $10,000 de su propio bolsillo y el apoyo financiero de sus padres, Bezos comenzó a desarrollar la plataforma. Decidió nombrar la empresa Amazon en referencia al río Amazonas, el más grande del mundo. A pesar de las dudas iniciales, el enfoque incansable de Bezos en el cliente y su visión de una tienda online que ofreciera de todo sentaron las bases para el gigantesco crecimiento de Amazon.
Well, I think it works quite well. And I really like this part at the end.
Amazon's tremendous expansion.
If I tell you the truth, you pick the song. It's been one of the hardest things about the whole project. In the end, I also had to tweak the audio so that the song more or less fit me with the animation. But as I tell you, choosing the song has been one of the things that cost me the most. More than anything, because I am not an expert, much less in sound design, So I think that is why it has been so difficult for me to choose the song and put the effects that can be improved. Sure, but hey, overall, I'm pretty happy with the outcome here at the end. Are we going to increase the animation a little bit for this final scene? We come to assembly, we enter this composition, and this last null. We are going to put these two keyframes here below the second 13 to give this final animation a little more time.
Amazon. Amazon. Amazon.
Well, what about face out? Maybe we come to the composition, editing, and we put these keyframes there. We advance them a little, and we look a little slower now.
Amazon growth.
Okay, well, I think it's perfect there.
Amazon growth.
Well, now we're going to put on these sound effects. With the L key twice, we display the audio waves, and here the levels. I'm going to put this first was at -5 somewhere. And this is the sound. I'm going to put what happens so that it starts here in frame number 10. Come on, let's continue. Let's now bring the WOS2. We put it here L key twice, and this is a different one. Okay, but this one's gonna start here in the second 6/113. Around there, when we are going to make the transition with the garage door, well, right there, this sound is going to start. And we are also going to increase the time a little bit here in this icon. We can deploy the stretch option, and we are going to set it to 130, okay? And we are going to set the audio levels to -7 so that it is not heard so loud. In any case, we can open the audio window here, and we are going to put this one up here. And the story is that it always moves more or less around here by 12. Don't let it go to red, because if it doesn't sound a little annoying, and don't stay too low either, I'm going to preview these three sounds so you can see what I mean.
In 1994, Jeff Bezos founded the company Amazon, which had its physical space in the garage of his house in East Seattle.
Okay, well, the good thing is that it always looks green. In any case, here I am going to put the composition, editing, and audio levels at -1.
1994, Jeff Bezos founded the company Amazon, which had its physical space in the garage of his house in Seattle. This impulse from Jeff.
Well, I think it sounds pretty good there. So we are going to continue with the sounds. We move forward, and here when 10 is going to enter the next scene, well, this boss 2 with decontrol, we double it, and we are going to put here in the second 16. We put this one here. And we are going to set the audio levels to -12. And here the stretch, well, we are going to lower it a little bit. We left it more or less there at 115%. Okay? the truth is that I quite like it. We're going to move forward, and here at 35 there, when we're going to make the transition between Jeff and the computer, well, we are going to put another bus right there on 35. With Control D, we double this one and put it right there. And the stretch, well, we left it at on a 15 and the audio levels at -12. Okay, we're going to put another one that's going to be here in the final scene. When Jeff already appears here with his arms raised, well, we're going to put it on. More or less here, in 5 to 145 there. And we are going to double this wash, the one with stress at 130% control. D, we are going to put it right there. What happens here? The audio levels are going to be put at -9. I'm giving you these values because, as I tell you, I have been paying attention here in this audio graph, trying to ensure that it always remains more or less green here and that it does not go to the yellows, nor to the reds, nor that it stays very low. So that's why I'm putting these values on the decibels. Okay, perfect. Well, these wind effects, we already have them all on. Now we're going to put this one called Supernatural Soul. We are also going to put it over here. And we are going to put this here in the second 31 on 12. We put it right there, let it start in that part. And we are going to set the audio levels to -15 so that it is not heard too loud. Okay? We have to put a couple of effects. This one called grunt, we are also going to put it here, and we are going to put this one more or less in the part where Jeff appears with a zombie appearance. And we have to put one last sound effect, which is this, that you can hear the river and like the jungle, and we are going to put it in the part that talks about the Amazon River. We move forward. Here's the timeline, and this is going to start at second 36. Right here, when we are going to make the transition, we put it there, and we are going to put the audio levels at -15. Okay, we activate the background music again, and we're going to put here on this last effect that we've put on, and right there where it starts. Here in the background music, we're going to dial a keyframe, we deploy. And here in audio levels, we dial a keyframe, we deploy the audio waves, and we get right here in this last sound effect. We advance here to the end, and there we mark another one, and more or less here in the middle we are going to put a value of -5. Okay, so that in this part you can hear less background music and a little more jungle sounds. Well, maybe I'm gonna give this background music a value of -1 here, and in the latter we still give it a value of -1. And now, with all the sound effects already in place, we are going to do a preview to see how everything works together.
In 1994, Jeff Bezos founded Amazon, which had its physical space in the garage of his home in Seattle. Jeff's impulse was generated by the idea of creating an online bookstore, taking advantage of the growing potential of the internet. Initially, Bezos considered calling the company Cadabra, but his lawyer advised him to discard the name because it sounded too similar to the word corpse. With an initial investment of $10,000 from his own pocket and financial support from his parents, Bezos began developing the platform. He decided to name the company Amazon in reference to the Amazon River, the world's largest river. Despite initial misgivings, Bezos' relentless focus on the customer and his vision of an online store that offered everything laid the foundation for Amazon's gigantic growth.
Well, I think it's still working pretty well. We can add an adjustment layer to this composition, and this will be called color correction. And we're going to put some curves on it. Nothing. We are going to do a minimal color correction so that it looks a little more with a cinematic look. Well, first thing here in RGB, we are going to give it a little bit of contrast. We go down this point here and we go up this point a little bit, there and now. Here in the color blue, because this point here, we are going to move it up so that the shadows and dark tones look like this in bluish tones, but not much, without anything happening to us. A little bit. I think it can be worth it there. Let's see the before and after. And, well, the truth is that it makes me a little sad, but with this last step, we reach the end of the course. We are going to set the quality to complete. And now, composition to render queer. Here we are going to choose H264. We give it to OK. And here we are going to give a name to our project, and we are going to choose the folder where we want to save it. We click on render, and depending on the power of your computer, it will take more or less time. When I complete my rendering, I'm going to tell you how long it took. I hope you liked this whole creative process, that you learned many things, and that this course is useful for your own personal projects. If you have any questions or are stuck in any step, you can write to me in the comments of the tutorials. Greetings to all, and as I tell you, you can ask me whatever you want. See you on the YouTube channel.
In 1994, Jeff Bezos founded Amazon, which had its physical space in the garage of his home in Seattle. Jeff's impulse was generated by the idea of creating an online bookstore, taking advantage of the growing potential of the internet. Initially, Bezos considered calling the company Cadabra, but his lawyer advised him to discard the name because it sounded too similar to the word corpse. With an initial investment of $10,000 from his own pocket and financial support from his parents, Bezos began developing the platform. He decided to name the company Amazon in reference to the Amazon River, the world's largest river. Despite initial misgivings, Bezos' relentless focus on the customer and his vision of an online store that offered everything laid the foundation for Amazon's gigantic growth.